Seventh day of Christmas, Marua gave to me 7 Mr. Mosby, 6 Rip Castro's 5 Persona games, 4 balls of cutting, 3 dead ducks, 2 handshaking, and a meet up at LAGZ. Yes.
Ho, ho, ho! And a very good evening to all you children. Hey there, little Billy. Hi there, little Megan. And hello, Timmy. Have you been good boys and girls for Santa? If not, I'll know these things. I have a system where I know if you've been naughty or nice. Come and sit on my knee and tell good old Santa what you would like for Christmas.
Hi Santa. What I want most for Christmas, more than world peace, more than a sequel to Grease, more than a new bike, more than a pickerel pike, is another day of the 12 days.
Oh, the 12 days of Christmas! Wishes granted, motherfucker! Actually, no, more Santa shouldn't have a gun. He shouldn't start popping off rounds in a busy mall.
No, he just fires at the glass ceiling.
Yeah.
It hypes up the kids.
It's when a kid's asked for something like, and he doesn't think he deserves it. It's like, bring the ceiling down on this bitch! But yes, we are back for day something of the 12 days of Christmas. My name is Vacant, and of course you've just heard him. That is Manimal.
Hi everyone, get ready for Yuletide adventures. One another day.
One another day.
One another day.
I just want another day.
I wanted to.
But it's gonna be good. It's just us two. We're a little worse for wear.
Are we?
Well, yeah, because I'm, fresh off a party. As you can probably tell, my voice is a little worn out. And also, Manimal's going through a bereavement at the moment. The sad loss that's impacting him, but he'll discuss that on the happy hour,
yes.
I'm sure.
Yes.
Speaking of the happy hour, this is obviously what this is for. Today, we thought we'd do something a little different on the 12 days of Christmas. We'd do something, I'm not sure what to title it, but I guess the best way to sum it up would be a brief history of the happy hour.
We're gonna do a happy hour about the happy hour.
Meta! Yeah, we thought it'd be interesting because there's bound to be new listeners out there who weren't with us in the beginning. People who may not know what Manga Raiders even is or stands for. So we thought it'd be fun to look back and sort of go a bit in depth with shit that's gone on and where we got our start, and also, maybe even if we've got time, explain some of the running jokes and gags, or at least find out, because half the time we don't know where the fuck shit's come from. It just, anything that sticks. You never know. So, I think it's kind of fitting because it's you and me, Manimal, and we are both the top 2 most frequent
top tier, baby.
We are the top tier. We are number 1 and number 2 respectively for appearances on the happy hour. So yeah, I think we're in a good place to discuss the history of it. Let's start at the beginning, then I guess. Let's start with Manga Raiders and where we all met and how we got our start. So Manga Raiders is, as you probably guessed, is a forum.
Wait, this is
manga.
Is the part where it needs to be like an 80s VHS tape, and it's like Vacant and Manimal met each other on MRHH.com. It was an encounter that they never knew. A spark was lit that was not known.
Do we need our movie trailer voices or something?
No, it's like a narration, and then one of us comes in. Yeah, when I first joined the Manga Raiders here, I those stupid.
Oh,
things.
you know what we should have done? We should have totally set this up interview style.
Oh no, we shouldn't have. I hate that.
So it's like,
the same thing. it'd be like you'd be asking someone. It's like Vacant is a real hard worker. He really grinds it out. Like it's so
Yeah.
stupid. I hate that stuff.
No, I love them ones. Do you know where they're like just there and it's silent and you don't hear the
Yeah.
presenter ask questions? It's just them
yeah,
on the
'cause
in
it's
the
like one of
frame,
those cheesy behind the scenes feature
Yeah.
things on like a DVD or whatever.
like smoking a cigarette, black and white filter, and it's just we never imagined the impact that what we were going to have on the world. We never
Because
imagined.
They all
how
say
much would
this
change.
exact same things, just different for whatever they're talking about.
But yeah, as I say, we all went to Manga Raiders. This is where we all started. It's still going strong today. The Manga Raiders forum. We're not as active as we used to be on there.
It still exists.
Still there. But yeah, we all started there. We all came to it because we were all fans of manga and anime, and it is a forum primarily focused on those who are artists and writers. So that was certainly my interest. I was as a writer going in. I wanted to share stories. I wanted to speak to people, like-minded people, because it sounds stupid saying it now, but for years I thought I was the only person in the West who wanted to write a manga story. Like,
Only person
you know,
in the
wanted
Western world.
who was inspired by like anime and manga to write as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then one day I literally just thought, do you know, there's probably people, there's probably more people out there.
It's probably
who are
a
interested.
person or two out there who's also interested in this thing.
And then it turns out there's a lot, which is good. It was good to see. So, yeah, we all started on the Manga Raiders forum. We're all still members on there.
Yeah, like,
you may
again-
not see us post.
No, I joined in the first semester, grade 12, which was a different time for me in some ways. Well, because I was making comics and I was like, yeah, I guess if I just keep drawing, then I'll just like make comics for a living. Because when I was a kid, that's what I always thought. But then that was the time where I realized that, wait, that doesn't just happen. I'm like, okay, now I'm this age, so what do I do?
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, I thought, oh, I'll worry about that one day. I'll totally become a comic artist one day.
Yeah.
Or no, it was a newspaper comic artist. That was my grand aspiration.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The newspaper shorts.
Yeah,
Oh.
because you look at the newspaper comics now, they're lame. They're just, they're kind of charming in a way, but it's not exactly high grade comic,
Not really, no.
But yeah, I saw somewhere that was like, oh, just join a forum, and I was like, well, I've been on many forums before, but no one is ever nice to me at a forum because, well, before when I was like 12, I was, no one gets along with 12-year-olds on the internet, not even other 12-year-olds, because that's all
That's
you do
some
is
true
post
shit.
just like I used to post on forums of a bunch of like older people, right? And I just be going all like, hey guys, just going all crazy and stupid, and no one likes that. I was pretty much driven off of every forum until I got more mature.
You were a pariah of the forums.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like
Just
again,
love
I've
that.
always loved message boards, but this one is different because even though it's a smaller message board, I don't know, it's its own thing. I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah.
Things have happened. Like this has happened.
This whole podcast came out of it. I mean, it was the first forum that I've really been an active participant in. I signed up for some before, but I've never really. Most of the time, I just never understood the layout of forums
The thing
and
with
just gave up
forums is
really quickly.
There were only like a few allies I ever had on message boards because most of the time people just were super annoyed anytime I posted anything.
Yeah,
But it was different when I posted here because I was at least a little more mature by then.
Yeah, I think the problem is a lot of the time. Well, yeah, it's age and immaturity always plays a factor.
And with some message boards, it's like old time posters are usually the ones who are just talking to each other the whole time, and
Yeah.
unless you're super loud, then the new ones are just kind of there.
Yeah.
So,
The other thing that I kind of realized looking back now and all the ones that I joined is you're going to a place, you're the newcomer to a place where this is a passion for people. They love whatever you're going into. Like if you sign up for a forum on fucking, Bleach, for example, like on the
Neopets.
Bleach forum. Yeah. Something like that. That's their big passion. And people are going to have very strong opinions. And if your
Usually,
opinion differs slightly,
you will find people who hate franchises the most are people who post in forums like that also.
Really?
That's a weird thing where people say Star Wars fans hate Star Wars the most. or anything like that, Kiss fans or anything, because they have so much invested in it.
They're the most critical. Yeah.
So most people who
true.
would just not like it would just not care. But the people on the forum you go on sometimes, they're super brutal, more than anyone would ever care to be.
Yeah, it's because they care deep down.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was a forum, and we all joined. I'll give you a brief synopsis. So I remember at some point someone mentioned that there was a podcast. It was called the MRCast. It apparently existed between the years of 2010 and 2012. Before our time on there, I got on there at 2014. I think you got on there end of the year, 2013.
End of 2013, yeah.
Yeah, I was at the beginning. I was a couple months after you, 2014, like February.
Because that's when anime was at its prime, at its peak for me, 2013.
Yeah, some good shows in 2013.
Well, not the shows of the year, but me watching stuff.
Oh, okay. So we heard about this podcast. They don't exist anymore. The MRCast has relegated to the annals of history. There is no surviving copies other than a pilot episode made by one of the members, and I really wish I could remember her name right now, but it was one of the female members of the Manga Raiders forum. She made like a 13-minute demo. Sounded pretty cool. I would have loved to have heard some of their early episodes, because I know our Corin was on them.
Oh.
He featured on a couple of them.
Old-fashioned teenage corn.
I would love to see them. I would pay to hear them right now. But that was a precursor. That was dead and buried by the time we came. No one really talked about it, because I guess very few members knew about it, because there's only the old guard remembered. Because with forums, there's a lot of people who come and go. As you know, that's just nature. And forums, people, it's the internet. They have the freedom to go and come and go as they please. So I remember we discussed about a podcast, because it came up because I think it might have been myself who made a thread, because I was always been interested in podcasts, but it's never occurred to me to do one. Mm-hmm. Just because I can never think of what to, like. I love, like, the first ever podcast I came across was a wrestling one. And that sort of, we'll get into, I guess, our inspirations for podcasts later, but that was the first one I ever came across. And I love listening to podcasts more than I did music during this time. Whenever I had to do some chores, or if you, traveling to work and all, like, the daily commute, I'd prefer podcasts to music. So I was asking for more anime-themed ones, and then someone said that there was an MR one, and that kind of intrigued me. And I was like, I'd like to hear these people, Lego and Phenomenal, I think, were there. These old gods, Lauren X and Iron Quill and Mysterious Nairbons, who hops in from time to time.
That Australian Nair, can't trust him.
I was he was very different to what I imagined. So we had, we were talking about it with those guys, and I was like, that'd be cool. That'd be interesting if I heard them. Never really thought about doing anything else until in about November of 2014, I got a microphone. I just bought one on the whim, and then I did a little pilot thing where I just thought, I'm just going to record something. I'm just going to learn how to use this microphone and do what I do. And out of that came Anime and Alcohol. Illustrious series that we all owe our history to. But what it actually is just me sitting there in the cupboard under the stairs with a shitty microphone for about an hour. And got about 12 minutes of usable thing. And even that is terrible and cringy. Where I just got drunk and rambled about anime or writing. I don't even remember what I said. It does exist on the forum somewhere, but it's not easy to find. We may post the link here.
I don't know. We found it pretty easily.
Yeah, it took us a couple minutes. And in modern internet, that's too long.
No, that's basically a few years. Who cares anymore?
Yeah. If it's not on the front page of Google, then it's not worth our time.
Nah.
But yeah, that was kind of the pilot, and it generated some interest, like a lot of interest from people, particularly Lego, particularly Corin, particularly Noisy, also Ginger Joy. We got talking, me and Ginger Joy, and he was saying he'd like to do a show between the pair of us. He'd like to do a podcast between the two of us.
The Brit show.
The Brit show, exactly. And I was like, I am down for this. Oh my God. Like, it's because at first he was saying, like, do anime and alcohol between us. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. Who else? Like, Josh is British. Let's ask Josh. Because I was speaking with Josh with the PMs and stuff. And we had a little bit of a chat and that. And I was like, yeah, let's do a Britcast. Then it occurred to me, I was like, fuck me. We could actually do a podcast. Like, these are people. We have a shared interest of anime. And we all have recording equipment, apparently. We can do this. We can actually make a podcast. So I was like, how would you do it? It's just record. I was like, you must be able to record Skype. Turns out it's very easy to record Skype.
It's also very easy to lose episodes.
That's true. That is very true. But yeah, so we were talking about it and we were going to get it done. Nothing happened for a couple of months until we got to Boxing Day, 26th December 2014. And we decided to give it a go. We were just going to try and record an episode. So we all got on Skype, and it was very weird. This is the first time, because I never recorded a podcast. Obviously, I'd done the thing on my own, but that's a lot different. Doing commentary on your own is way different to any kind of thing like podcasting or anything. And then just interacting with people that you've never met or have never even heard. Like, you've never heard their voices before. And that was really strange at first. But we got over it very quickly. We just got chatting. And then we went and we did the first 15, 20 minutes. We got into a show. And then suddenly someone left. I think it was Ginger Joy, who disappeared. He's disappeared. That left us both there waiting for him. And he never returned. He said, unfortunately, it was Boxing Day, bear in mind, like I say, day after Christmas Day. Family's there. He's having celebration. So he's been pulled away. So that was it. That didn't come out. I still have that recording to this day. I don't know if you want... I could even add it into this. I could put it at the end of the show if anyone really wanted to hear it. Because it was like the pilot of our show. The pilot.
How can there be so many pilots?
I am sure I have it still. As I say, just cuts off briefly, but maybe it'd be a fun little thing to add on. So, yeah, Ginger Joy disappeared, unfortunately. As I say, it's Christmas time, so I don't know why we decided to record then. Yeah, like when there's the height of the festivities, it's like, sure, this will be fine. You can find a quiet moment to yourself. It didn't happen. But at least we got it down, and at least we got it there. Josh was still interested, and me and Josh were spitballing the idea still, and we did want to do something. We didn't get round to doing it until about March time. At this point, Ginger Joy had left Forum, and we had to go it alone, me and Josh. We had to do it. We were just sort of spitballing what we were going to do. We did a 3.5 hour recording where we just chatted along. We spoke about things. And in true happy hour tradition, a good old tradition was born. That recording was corrupted. And unfortunately, it was unusable because silly old Vacant didn't swap his microphone from his desktop one. His laptop. So there I am speaking into my little new microphone because I invested in a Snowball, which I think you've got now, haven't you? You got a Snowball? Yeah. Classic mic. If you are a beginning podcaster, they're about 50 quid. Can't go wrong. They're a decent microphone. We didn't get around to doing our pilot till March time, beginning of March. Unfortunately, I lost this recording. Again, I still have it, but it's unusable. It's just garbage. Josh is coming through nice and clear, and then there's just me, who sort of sounds like this, and it sounds really, really terrible.
Yeah.
And it's not good. So we ended up doing another pilot again, but in the long run, I think that helped. That got rid of any sort of beginning, like, feeling out process.
Yeah.
Because we'd been chatting for a few hours then. We left it a few days and decided to go again. We did the pilot, and then we put that out there. Now, if you go back and listen to our pilot in episode 1, our starting out goals are very different to where we are now. The show came from a desire to basically connect the people to get to know the people of the forum, because there was a lot of cool people on there, and we wanted to get to know them, wanted to talk about writing, because we really thought there isn't that many, like, for me personally, no offense to anyone out there who is a successful anime podcaster, but there really isn't many anime podcasts that I enjoy. And I don't want to hate on it. I don't want to hate on anyone.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, like
me personally,
your own taste. Like that's the same with me as well. Like there aren't many podcasts I listen to anyway, but you know. Yeah,
particularly the big ones. They tended to be this. Like obviously doing this, the history throughout the years of doing this, we have. I've learned about so many more podcasts, and there's some fun ones out there. The Manga Forum, I enjoy listening to that one. The Anime Outsiders one, I really enjoy listening to theirs as well. And there's even more beyond that. But yeah, most of the successful ones, they always had this.
Is this a diss track?
No, they always had this.
Is this no Vaseline?
It's not a diss track. This is not a message hate. This is purely my tastes and preferences.
Yeah.
I like as you people know, listening to the Happy Hour, I like a laid back atmosphere. I like it to be a bunch of people who enjoy, who are friends, who just want to kick back, have a laugh, and talk about some shit. Particularly anime and manga, even though half the time we don't. But we want to have fun on the show. That's the number one objective, is to have fun, to be entertaining, to be lighthearted. The thing I can't stand in any fandom, but in anime in particular as well, is the air of elitism, this, the gatekeeping and stuff, and that tended to come across. And where a lot of anime podcasts as well tended to just be episode 500. Today we watched this 12 episode anime from 8 years ago. Have you not seen it? Well, tough shit, because we're just going to review it. And then it's like there's no real entertainment in it. They're just sort of going, oh yes, it was okay. I enjoyed it. And like, not many opinions, not great editing, and it never had that entertainment factor for me. This is just the ones I found in my experience, and I wasn't really too keen on them. They went too overboard with the weeaboo-ishness. Like, you know what I mean. Anyway, I don't want to tread on anyone's toes or offend someone.
Don't tread on me.
Don't tread on anyone. Not any fun. If you are listening, fuck it. Tell us you disagree with me. I don't care. Fuck knows what you're going to do. But yeah, so we started the podcast because we wanted to do something fun alternative, and it was fun to do. So, but the original goals were to have fun, meet the members of the community, get some of them there, and also discuss writing, because there really wasn't many manga writing focused podcasts, and to give writing advice, to give art advice, because we thought, hey, the artists want to get involved in this. Let's get them on as well. Those artist episodes have always been successful, as we know.
Oh yes.
Because yeah, oh god, they were fun to record. But that was where we got our start, and we did the pilot. From there, we did episode 1, and the big catch that we got was that Corin got involved in episode 1, and that was a big deal for me and Josh, because Corin is a moderator and also has been on the forum a year. Yeah, pretty much 90% of the time that the forum's been around.
Old time lad.
He is a moderator on there for many, many years. He was there a year after it started, so basically from nothing, because it was in obscurity for a year. So we were like, this is legitimizing this podcast on the forum. This is legitimate stuff. So we treated him with an air of respect and reverence. So like, this guy's moderator. He's a big deal.
He's gonna ban us if he doesn't like us.
If you don't like this, he's gonna ban us. And that's all gone.
Yeah, no more respect.
No more respect for Corin, but no. No, and obviously we then we got Lego on episode 2, and that was another big deal because again he was a moderator, but also Lego was a huge character, and it came across in the forum. You really wanted to speak to him, and we got the chance to, and then of course we grew from there. What was the first episode you remember listening to, Manimal, or what was your first initial?
I listened
impressions?
to the pilot episode for a bit, and I was like, what?
Who are these dicks?
I don't know, I didn't expect you to sound like that, so I was just kind of, at first I just thought like, oh, whatever, I didn't really think anything about it, because the way you talked before, I thought you sounded like a typical, like, kind of like your typical angry white boy rap fan. That's kind of the impression that I got that you would sound like. And not the way you do, even though I don't know, maybe I knew you were from the UK. I don't actually know. I was just like, oh, that's what he sounds like. All right. So I didn't really think anything about it, but I was like, I was a dick about it. I was like, yeah, I'll be on the show if they ask me.
Oh, you had the invite only thing going on.
I was a right dick about it. I don't know why. It's the way I am sometimes. And
yeah, I guess if they ask me.
I know I was weird in that era, I suppose, as things are different. But yeah, then there's a music episode with Noisy and Pipest Pickle Man, and
episode 10.
Well, yeah, because we recorded an episode, and I was like, wow, look at this, I'm talking to these guys, and then we lost that episode. And that was the first episode I called Lego Mega Block because I came prepared. I came ready because, well, for me, I'll go into my history, right? It's for freaking 9 years I've wanted to make a podcast ever since I was 12 years old, and I listened to Noxcast, which we'll talk about that later. But anyways, I was like, okay, I need to make a podcast now. So when I got my first MP3 player, it had a recorder on the back. So I was like, I know exactly what I'm gonna do with this. So I was like, okay, I can't record in my house. I don't want anyone to listen to me. So I went in my shed, set up a lawn chair, sat down, and just talked into it with my show notes. I freaking wrote show notes, and they were like so the neatest handwriting you've ever seen in your life. Like I put all my handwriting ability into making these super neat show notes and everything like that.
12-year-old you was more prepared than us.
Oh god, 12-year-old me was so prepared.
Current day us.
So prepared to talk about all the latest Transformers news and everything like that. Freaking show notes written up, and I just sat there and talked into this thing. And I uploaded some on YouTube, and no one listened. So I wanted to have questions, but pretend that people ask me listener questions. So I'd always be like, "Yeah, I have a question from John, and he's asking me." And then,
I'm always tempted to get that here, but I'm just like, we won't get no questions.
Yeah, I just all these fake things. So then I did a podcast with my best friend. We did some, because he had a podcast too, even. And he had another MP3 player we recorded on, so we recorded some episodes at his house that were pretty silly. Yeah. You listen back to them. Maybe I should put a clip because I do not sound like me. It is a different human being altogether.
I've been trying to make a podcast since 2007, so don't judge me. Yeah, I've been trying to get a podcast. I've probably recorded at least 80 podcasts to finally find the right one. Kind of weird.
I don't know. I just always wanted to make a podcast. It never quite worked out. I've tried many times, and there have been some attempts that like the one time I got someone to record an episode through his speakers while he was eating dinner. So he put the freaking recorder right at his speaker, and the dude's freaking eating dinner. You hear the plate and the fork while we're talking on Skype. And this is the worst quality. This is my era where I was an annoying piece of shit when I was 13. I was absolutely unbearable as a human being. Because I have a lot of energy now, but then it was even worse.
I was gonna say then.
Yeah.
Have you moved past that era?
I know sometimes I get that old energy in me, but yeah, I don't know. It's just I've tried many times to do solo casts and stuff, but it's never worked because as much as I like talking, I was never too good at it before because it'd always be too serious or something like that.
Yeah.
So I just kind of gave up on that, and then he posted it on the forum, and I was like, yeah, you gotta ask me first. I don't know why I had that attitude. I was being such a dick about it.
That's so strange.
It is strange. I don't know. Maybe because I felt weird about there being.
You're
a
not
podcast
alone.
or
You are
something.
not alone with that. No. There is many a member who were like, "I'll go if you ask me."
I know.
Like they had this. You had to go to them and really like. You know,
because
question-
I wanted to be some importance. I wanted to be like you guys. I wanted to, if this guy. I wanted to be like a big show. But the Manimal would come in and everyone would be like, "Wow, he's the best guest." It's weird to say this stuff now because I've listened to shows like that. This is the way I thought then. It's not the way I think now. But because I've listened to shows,
what you mean.
I've listened to
get
shows
you.
where they have like the one guest and he's like really great. So anytime I came on the show in the beginning, I was freaking ready. Just wanted to be like the episode I did of Pipus, the whatever episode. I had so many notes. I was like, "Okay, this is going to be the greatest episode on the podcast. I will destroy everything that's come before."
Yeah.
That was my attitude in the beginning. And well, I mean, after like the year-end awards, I think and then into 2016.
Yeah.
Then I just came on more. And then once I did the first episode where it was just me and Pipus, that's when I started going on like pretty much every episode except for like maybe 4 or 5 since then.
Yeah, it was the beginning of 2016, I think, that you started that.
Yeah.
For those who are new, who have always wondered, by the way, why our episode, like we've been going since officially March the 14th, 2015. So we're coming up to 3 years as of this recording. Excuse me. Yes. However, we're only at 118 episodes right now. The reason for that is because we weren't always on a weekly schedule. From March till, for the first year, in fact, we recorded whenever.
Yeah.
There was 1 week where we had 2 episodes in 5 days. Then we didn't do one for a month. And then, it was a really erratic schedule, which now is stupid. Because now I realize that anyone who listens to something, it's like podcasts should be normal. They should have a schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because you got to get into the groove of things naturally. And
yeah,
I don't know. Because eventually I wanted to be like, I just did friggin' invade the show and become this presence. That's why I always did intro skits for the warning this show may contain. So I was way more creative in the beginning. Every episode I was on, I recorded a different skit for that.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be different. But then I was just like, I don't know, I just started going on and off, and I was like, okay, dedicate something to this show.
Yeah, I think the first ever episode I did with you was the year-end awards in episode 22.
Yeah, and that was really nothing. I didn't talk too much on that episode. I was just kind of like, all... That's pretty much my whole contribution to that.
You gave us some good stories, no? There was some good tidbits there.
I don't remember.
They were fun. There was a fun one to do to round out the year, I remember. After all the 12 days of Christmas.
Yeah.
Because that was another thing. Yeah, so episode 1, we had Corin. Episode 2, Lego came on, and also White Crow was there as well. Episode 3, we had Miss Churro, who is a artist, and she was the moderator for the artists board on Manga Raiders. Also the first female to come on as well. She's officially the first lady of Manga Raiders due to that.
It's on a plaque.
But again, it brought what I really liked in the beginning, because like those episodes were very different, because not like now, we know, not to say every episode's not different, but when we began, like now we know each other, we know, our sense of humors and stuff, and you can kind of almost predict what you know where something's going, you know what you can and can't say.
Yeah.
Whereas there is almost like there was this formal respect where you're like, oh, I don't want to tread on their toes with anything. Whereas now I don't give a shit. I'll say something if it offends someone. Yeah. So like
that's the way you get close to anybody, though, is just to make fun of them.
Yeah, pretty much. If you can make fun of someone
in a friendly way.
Yeah. If you can sling an insult to someone and they not get offended, you're in the right ballpark there in terms of friendship.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Choro, we did the no swearing challenge because any person who listens knows that we swear a lot, and we'll talk about topics that aren't exactly PG at times. That's just because that's who we are. I mean, I did try and police stuff like that at the beginning. At the very beginning, we wanted to be a bit more, not kid-friendly, but we wanted to be more universal, I guess, would be the best way to put it. Like, not really too explicit. I don't know why. That would have been a fucking ball ache to keep up with.
Wouldn't it?
Imagine.
Okay, guys, we can't talk about anything too controversial. We can't say any bad words on this episode. So,
hey guys, don't say net neutrality. Yeah, and we did the no swear challenge with Choro. We failed miserably, but she was a good sport about it as well. Like, she wasn't going like she wasn't being a dick about it. Like, it was just a bit of fun. So that was good. I enjoyed having Choro on. If she's listening out there, more than welcome to join us at any time as well. Which goes for everyone who is a past guest. But episode 4, or episode 5, actually, tell a lie, it wasn't until episode 5 that then we had Nair come on. Who
was an Australian.
He wasn't Australian. And he was a revelation. Because I love Nair. We all know that I love Nair. He's a very funny guy. You know, everyone on the happy hour is good. But,
You need a Nair if you do a podcast, basically.
Everyone needs a Nair. He's the funny man.
He always has the ammunition.
Yeah. He always has that quick wit. Everyone has their own jokes and everyone has their own sense of humor. But he's always there. You need someone consistent like that. So that's good.
You need the Nair blankets over you.
You need an air blanket. Everyone needs an air blanket. I'm trying to think I've kind of rambled and now I've lost my train of thought of where to go with this. Okay,
well, there's also Mr. Sherbs.
Mr. Sherbs. Okay, so this is getting us through our first summer. So we did the season previews. The summer season was the first one I think we did.
Yeah.
That we got down to, because we'd done them on the forum before where we'd done first impressions, but we'd never done a preview before. And I thought that'd be really interesting because I've never really looked at a season and gone through it and combed through it and picked highlights out. When we first did it, we did every single show that was on the list, and that was a fucking marathon. And I remember, if you listen back to that show, I was in the height of hay fever, and we had to break it. The only reason it's in 2 parts, by the way, is just because I had to. Yeah, I had to just quit, and I was like, guys, I can't take anymore. I need to leave. So we had to just break it into 2 parts because we were going to marathon that shit all the way through. We didn't, and we broke it into 2 parts. That became a thing because we also did that for the fall season, I think, and also the winter season was definitely in 2 parts. So it was just something that we did, and I mean, I personally enjoy it more how we do it now, where we just pick things rather than, you know, categorically going through them all. Because if you take something on in its entirety, there's so many where we just went, yeah, it could be all right. I don't know, not really heard about it, never seen it. I don't know. If it's not worthy of comment, there's no point. So we got that, and that got us through to Christmas, where I decided that we should do something special for Christmas. Now, I got this idea in my head because this is really lifting the curtain now. Me and Manimal watch a bit of ASMR as we do. You know we do.
Yeah, Peep Homo for life.
Yeah. Like, everyone needs to chill out once in a while, and I'll partake in some ASMR.
Here are my top 5s. Peep Homo, Latte, Kaya's pretty good. Delicate Raindrops, and Softly Galoshes.
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 Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes. I don't know if that was 5, but those are my favorite.
I don't know. Yeah, there was a girl, I can't remember her name now, and that's going to bug me, but it doesn't matter, it's not pertinent, but she did a thing the year before, or a couple of years ago, where she did the 12 days of Christmas, and she had a new video each and every day in the run-up to Christmas. I mean, actually, tell a lie. it was like the 12 days of Christmas, but I don't think they came out like how ours do. It was something like the 20th to like January or something.
Oh, something gross like that.
Yeah, it's like the 20th of December, and then it just went off, and then
Yeah.
they got it uploaded. But I thought that was a cool idea. I was like, wow, like a 12-day countdown. If we did that, that'd be so awesome. That'd be really, really cool
That'd
and
be
interesting.
awesome.
That'd be awesome, man. So we decided to do that. Didn't think 12 was going to be many. Fuck me. 12 was a lot. Why?
You guys had an interesting first go at it, where you lost an episode and then made a whole episode saying how you lost an episode for 3 minutes. And
Yeah,
then there was just no day 11, and then day 12 was like,
there is a day 11.
it's not on YouTube.
There is. Should be.
No, it's not on YouTube.
There's definitely day 11, because day 11's musical extravaganza. It comes
Oh.
before day 10. It's just the way I uploaded them onto YouTube.
Okay, because
Day
when
11.
I was looking at it, I didn't see that. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, it goes day 9, then day 11, then day 10, because I uploaded them at the same time.
Yeah.
But I uploaded 11s like a minute before, not
Okay.
thinking,
Okay.
and it's forever done my head in. But yeah, that's what we did in the first time, in the first year.
In
We
that
decided to
first
do 12
era.
days. Oh, fuck me, that first year of 12 Days Christmas. But it was good fun. Everyone pitched in.
That's again when I came on, and one of my favorite moments, one of the best things, was when we were talking about Star Wars, and I mentioned like they were talking about Darth Vader's thing looks like a harmonica, so it's like he just looked down and go. So it's hard to describe, but like he just Nair's making a joke about how Darth Vader would be fighting, and he'd just be like. And he's just like, I don't know. It's just think about the way that Nair responded to that is, I don't know. It's hard to describe. Nairisms are impossible to duplicate.
Nerisms. Yeah, he has a certain.
That's when I knew that I like you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, he picks up and runs with a joke. That's what I enjoy with Nair on a show. Sometimes, because there have been, do you know when you say something and you're like, oh, this is a tangent potentially,
Yeah.
and then it just goes nowhere? It's like, yeah. That's another thing I hate about anime podcasts. Where there's so many where literally someone's saying something, and then they just sort of go, uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, that's
Mhm.
that's why.
Yeah.
That's why I dedicated to this podcast like I did, because I was like, you know what, it's a good group, and because anything you need dynamics, and I think naturally you guys are quite different than me in styles of humor and everything, especially Corin. Corin is like my, what would you call, antithesis and whatever,
Antithesis, yeah.
antithesis. The
Yeah.
bullshit
Corin's
squatter.
Yeah, Corin's a bit more chill, and he has a very dry
Yeah.
sense of
I'm,
humor.
I'm a big fan of just bullshitting and acting like an idiot.
Yeah, but that's what's good. You're foils to each other. It's all
Yeah.
good. So, yeah, I think that's what made like why we've been able to do so many episodes so far. It's just because we have a good cast of people. Some more committed than others. Some are allowed more than others.
Call
to be
out
able-
to Noisy!
Call. That was not a shot at Noisy. He's a very busy boy.
Yeah.
Noisy is, of course, the co-founder of the Happy Hour with me, officially recognised. He
On
came
the
up with the
on
name.
plaque.
He came up with the logo.
Ah.
Bet you guys didn't know that.
Yeah, you guys
Logo
commissioned
is-
an artist for that?
Yeah, he did. He
right.
commissioned the artist and paid them. I paid him half.
And
we went
both of you
halvesies.
guys paid me in contests.
Yeah, we ran Yeah, that first year we ran
It's
contests.
insane to think. I have a Gurren Lagann Wall Scroll Nana Katade album and 2 K-On figures that you guys bought with your money. You know.
Yeah, that was the thing when we first started. We just did contests and stuff. Because that's the done thing, I
Gave
guess.
me
We
like
were just-
$50 because I was the only person that wrote a Halloween story.
Hey, when I said I was going to pay someone, I was going to pay
And
someone.
I'm not the kind of person who's going to turn down money.
I can get $50 from this
Hey,
shit.
maybe if we go to Kansas, I'll pay you back. I'll buy you something or other.
Aw. It's okay. You won it in a contest.
Yeah.
You were a lucky boy in a contest, so it's all good.
Lucky to be the only one who entered.
But yeah, we Oh god, yeah, we did the Halloween concert. We got some entries in the first year. Second year
first
wasn't
year.
so much.
First year
So
was
that's-
earned. Second year was not.
Yeah, the third year we haven't done it. We didn't do any, and quite rightly so. We probably wouldn't get too much interest on them.
Nah.
But yeah, we did the 12 days of Christmas. Didn't really have any plans. Some things have become traditions just because we enjoyed doing them so much. That's why we did it last year, and that's why we're doing it this year. Just because we really, really love doing them. And I love Christmas. I like it. Makes Christmas special.
Yeah.
It makes me, because it gives me more things to look forward to. I'm like, we get to record these and put these out. So it's good.
Yeah.
So there's a good countdown to the year. But then we did our first year. That was our first year in the book. Got to our first anniversary. And that was a bit different. 2016 as a whole, we just got loads of guests. We had loads of different
2016
guests.
is when some of you first met each other.
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm totally glossing over that shit. Okay, so in February, we decided last year, me, Sherbet, and Noisy, which I guess I should quickly mention Sherbet, because I kind of haven't so far, and he's one of the main cast members still, I guess. Sherbet Lemon is the Scottish one. He came along late 2015 onto the forum, and he was a cool guy. And he fit right into the happy hour. As soon as he came on, he was a really cool guy, a great guest. He was fun, and he was really interesting.
Scottish.
Yeah,
You need a Scottish accent.
guaranteed a good time.
You need a Scot or an Australian.
Yeah, that is true. Scottish or Australian, you're doing well.
You know,
Need someone
having
with an accent.
having an English guy is all right too.
Yeah, but I'm English, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything.
Well, it doesn't mean anything to you, but we
Yeah.
sound different than each other.
But
He's dying.
I am. My voice is going really bad. It's okay. We're going to soldier on. As long as I can still talk, it's going to be fine.
Hey guys.
So, hi everybody.
So back
Yeah.
to
So
my
we had
history.
Sherbet on. Sherbet was really enthusiastic about the podcast. He's enthusiastic about his writing as well. So we had a good core of people who, in my mind, the state of affairs was me, Josh, and Sherbet were like we could each host an episode. Basically, was where I was, and I was like, they can be main hosts. So if I'm not there, or if Josh isn't there, or if Sherbet's not there, we can still roll, and that gave us a bit more flexibility. And Sherbet expressed an interest in editing and everything as well. So we decided to get together, and we went to our my first ever anime convention. We went LAGC in 2016, and it was a lot of fun. It was great meeting those guys. So much so we did it this year with Matt and Brian, who came down from America to London, and we had a hell of a time. And we are hopefully going to do another meetup next year because that was good. And there'll be many, many more in the future, I guarantee. You included, Manimal.
Come see the snow and the rocks.
We will. We'll come see them. Every single one of those pieces of snow and every Dwayne Johnson that's
Every
out there.
single tree out here.
I will not rest until I see them. Even those ones that are like in people's back gardens that you shouldn't
Oh yeah,
really
you're
see.
gonna get house invasion, but only to see that tree, and then you just leave.
Yeah. He's like, what are you doing in my garden at 4 a.m.? There's a sycamore I need to see, motherfucker.
Gotta see.
What's
those
wrong with
trees.
I made an oath last year. Yeah, we had a meetup at LAGC. That was good fun. And we made the remark because I had this mystique regarding panels and stuff, and I was like, you have to be a big shot and a big deal to do a panel at a convention. You have to be like, someone huge and impressive. And we went there, and some of the panels we were watching, they weren't professional, and you could tell it was just people, just having fun.
Chilling out.
So I said to them at the time on the Sunday, the last day we were there, I said, next year I want to do a panel. And I never I said it, but I didn't have much conviction about it. I was just sort of like, probably won't happen, but yeah, I want to do one.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And we did. We did 2, the fuckers. Fast forward ahead, and we did 2. And it put us in contact with multiple people. It was a really good thing. It was a lot of fun to do with Matt and Brian, and then we did the writers one. I kind of unfairly shoved that on Josh. I was like, I planned the last one. You do this one.
Yeah.
Just because he wasn't there. So it's kind of unfair on him, but whatever. We did it, and it was good fun. So yeah, definitely more of that. I want to do more of the meetups and the real life stuff. After that, we celebrated our 1 year anniversary, and then we switched to the weekly format after episode 29.
That's when it all began.
That's really when
for
you
me,
stepped in.
For me, the podcast began when we did the shower episode. That was the true beginning. Episode 28 is the true beginning of the podcast.
Okay. Episode 28 deserves a special mention because we've discussed this before. Episode 28 was at the time of recording, I thought I may not put it out. I hated it. When we were recording it, I did not think it was good. I thought it was garbage. But if you go and listen to that podcast now,
it's one of our best.
28. It's amazing. Not for anime and manga. God, no, not for anime and manga. There's barely anything in there from what I remember.
Yeah.
But fuck me, it's one of the funniest things ever. Someone's trying to podcast at the gym.
We just get Devil Pogo Stick on. Little do we know he's going to take us in the car, in the gym, and give us updates at the gym. Oh, there's this lady reading a book over there. Oh, my gym membership was declined.
Yeah, so we had 2016 was certainly the year of having guests, and the show was when we first started. The show was open to anyone and everyone, no matter how long you've been on the forum, no matter if you're a total stranger, you never said one word to us. You're free to come on the show. That brought some success stories. Obviously, we had yourself, Manimal, Nair, Corin, Lego, Sherbert, everyone else, pretty much everyone that we've had on. But then there's been other times when it's not quite worked out. Maybe it's audio equipment. Maybe it's just, personalities don't quite mesh, or they're not interested in the subject material. We've had some fails, and we've had some hits and some misses, shall we say. So there was no vetting process. We just have anyone on. All we asked, we had some ground rules where we'd say, just try and stay focused, try and limit the background noise, try and speak, try and not derail it. But yeah, Devil came on. He's a good guy, bless him. He's a sweet guy, Devil. He came on and he took us in his car, and out of nowhere, he starts talking about how his gym membership's been declined in the middle of it. But he's on the phone to us. He's using his phone to podcast. Yeah. And he's having this real life interaction. Yeah. It's shattered because when we're here doing a podcast, I'm just talking into a microphone. I'm sitting somewhere alone. We're almost in our own little bubble. I don't feel like the world is around us when we're recording. It's almost like we're in our own little studio on the internet. But then that just brought it back down to earth, where we're like, oh no, someone's out there in the world. He's having this. We wanted him to put her on the phone. It would have been so funny, but he didn't. He got sorted. It's okay. And then, he was just calling out people around the gym. It was so weird.
It was amazing.
Now I think about it. It was
amazing.
Certainly never be done again. But it was really fun.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
so we really enjoyed that.
2016, things happen.
That's when we really solidified.
First you got to start off a little bit. It starts bumpy, and then you just get going.
Starts bumpy, the middle's lumpy, but you're okay. So
yeah,
as soon as we went to the weekly format, it was a bit more challenging, certainly for myself, to try and get those episodes recorded. And that was at the point where
the summer 2016 episodes are a lot of fun. All of them. That was a great time because again we got Malua on most of those, and that was really fun.
Yeah,
and I'm so sad that the episode of me, Malua, and Sherbert will never be heard because, that would have been the best episode.
Was that a good one?
Oh, it was legendary. You can only imagine what we talked about.
Well, I know some of the things
for 4 hours.
You sunk to the depths of fetishism and fandom.
But it's stuff that is not as common. And it was fun.
Oh man, it is a shame. Maybe one day that'll get.
Yeah, but no, that summer was fun for a podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It became a real challenge. Noisy, just as he's known for, has been really, really busy, and that's when he kind of dropped off. There, same with Sherbet. He was sort of a lot less available, if that's the way of a lot less available.
Yeah.
Became a lot more busy all of a sudden. So those guys sort of dropped away, and that's when you, in their place, certainly came to the fore instead, Manimal, I thought.
So it needed to be done.
But yeah, in their absence, you really stepped up, and you saved us many an episode where I couldn't make it. But now, because that sort of again made us go under like another evolution, where because I always wanted to be to a point where I didn't need to be on. Like, it doesn't depend on me being on there to steer anything and still have a show that resembles the happy hour. And I'm fully confident we're at that point now. Whereas I can host a show.
I wouldn't like it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying all the time, but it's like I can, if I need to miss one for whatever, I can miss a show.
Yeah,
that's
one of my weird dreams. I want to do an episode of Vacant. It's like, we can't do it. It's going down, and I'm just like, oh shit. Okay, here, pipe us, Lego. Let's go. And it's the Manimal and his Banditos episode.
That's always the one. It's you, Lego, and Pipus. It's like the new. There's little groups that we have.
Yeah, I guess
should have mentioned as well.
I love 2 episodes of Pipus.
Yeah, that's well. We need to mention them ones. Yeah, so I think we should probably mention, because, as we were saying, you sort of started to take over a kind of co-host role when Noisy and Sherbet were no longer available. And there's certain episodes that we get, and then the Pipers and Manimal episodes that we have.
They're different.
They are very different, but they're a nice difference. I like them. They're like a little subgenre of the happy hour.
I like okay, for me, like, this gets into, but I like the idea of being in a hotel and listening to a podcast. That's so weird. But one of my ultimate dreams is to podcast in a hotel. That's really weird. But I just love hotel settings for some reason. I don't get to be in them very often because I don't get to go many places. I just like hotels, and because I used to listen to like Noxcast and stuff when I'm just walking around a hotel listening to Noxcast. So I wanted to make those episodes. That's why I made up Mr. Mosby in the Mosby Hotel.
Yeah, that's fair enough, man. That's fair enough. I mean, it was cool. Like, I like hotels because it always makes you feel, what's the word? Not important, but it makes you feel like you're doing something. Like, I love going on. Like, when we went down there.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. Like, when we went down there, I felt like I was like on a business trip. I was like, yeah, man. Like, I felt so. There was something I was like so like enthusiastic about. I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be the shit.
Yeah,
and like,
I don't
do that a lot more.
I don't know what it's like to be in a hotel by yourself, because that's never happened. And I haven't even been in one recently. But it's I don't know. It's just a sentiment that I have. Maybe it's a weird thing.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Like I say, it's sort of whenever the first time I went, I don't know why I mentioned it. First time I went a hotel by myself. I was staying there because we went for someone's birthday in Nottingham, and it's like their 18th birthday, and I was pretending.
Oh no!
Because we were dressing up quite fancy. Like the theme was suits. I was pretending I was a businessman on the phone. Like I wasn't. I was walking down the corridor pretending I was having a conversation and saying business speak.
You actually were.
So if you could email the files to me. And I don't know why I was
walking down the hotel room, the hallway.
Yeah, on the way to my hotel, because I didn't know what to do. I was like, what do I do? Rather than just be a normal human being and just go about your business. I was doing this, I don't know why. I don't know what possessed me to do that.
You wanted to feel what it's like to be a grown-up.
I think so. I think that's how I just assimilated, like, to become an adult, is like, just do other grown-up stuff.
Role play.
Make old person noises.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me, love.
My back, my bones.
Oh, I'm aching. Oh, I don't know what that is.
Put on MASH.
I'll buy a paper, because that's a done thing, I'm sure. I'll have a coffee instead of a juice.
Yeah.
But anyway, so well, yeah, we do the Pipus and Manimal podcast. And Pipus is a musical extraordinaire. You have a huge passion for music with him. That's a shared one between the two. I mean, obviously, Joyzy, Noisy as well.
Noisy.
It's because right in front of me is a decoration, a Christmas decoration. It says Joy and Hope. So I almost said Joy Hopesy. My brain's gone. Again, I'm severely hungover and tired, so
Yeah.
I apologize.
Hell yeah.
But those episodes are very different, and I enjoy them. There are certain 2-man or 3-man groups that work well, and ones I want to see more of. So, like, obviously, Corin and there are friends, and have been friends for many, many years, and have also lived together for many, many years. So when they do stuff, particularly with their friends who are Geekula, so shout out to Geekula. At the moment, they're not around because they tend to go on hiatuses, but they could come back anytime. Who knows?
Shout out to Corin's brother.
Corin's brother as well. He's also a member did a few of the Geekula podcasts, which they did a crossover, actually. They appeared on episode 31 with us, and then we had our only guests ever, which was Mayamada. That was really enjoyable.
Shout out!
I'd love to do more.
Shout out to other Brian and Craig.
We'll get them on one day. We'll get over Brian.
I need to talk to who's the guy in the frame. Is Craig?
Craig.
It's one of my favorites.
Oh god, there's so much stupid shit that's going on that I remember. I
need to show my in-laws a good romantic comedy. I'm gonna show them Judge Dredd.
Judge Dredd. Good old Nair. Bless him. Yeah, so we have the Manimal and Pipus ones. Lego and Manimal ones are always good. You know.
That's my Lego voice.
Oh. I mean, Lego is just great on any episode. He's amazing. He has a childlike wonder and enthusiasm that is infectious, but also he often jokes about kidnapping people. So there's a nice balance between the childlike innocence and the predatory sexual desire. I'm not saying he's a predator. That was a joke. Lego knows we're joking. And more importantly, hopefully the audience knows that we're joking as well. He's not an actual predator. It's okay. It's fine. He's a lovely little guy. Yeah, so that kind of brings us through 2016. Then we did this 12 Days of Christmas again. You saved our asses in that one because I became ill, very ill. Kind of like a repeat of this year. And had to step in and fill the void. But some interesting episodes came from it. I really enjoyed the Retail Rumble episode was cool. The Cards Against Humanity is always fun. And then we got to 2017. We didn't do any year-end awards as well in 2016. And that pained me to no end.
To no end. You tears fell everywhere.
Yeah, I was very annoyed because, as I say, I have a certain... I'm not too overbearing with the happy hour. I mean, I guess I sort of steer us in what direction, like, you know, what I want to go, because it was me and Noisy originally, but Noisy doesn't really put an input in anymore. I ask him sometimes, but you don't tend to get a response. So, and we collab with you guys, but really 2017 is where we changed again. And
is when things became things they are now.
Yeah, we've sort of settled into a way now. And we've actually got because one of the things we did in 2017 is we sort of got a routine of when we record. We used to record all over the place. The episodes always came out on Wednesday. Don't know why I chose Wednesday, by the way. I just did. I have no clue why. We always had them out for Wednesday, but we would record at any point when we were free. And whoever was around at the time we could record, they were on the show. Hopefully. Whereas now, we kind of just record every Sunday. And it's so much easier. It does lead to the same people, but it's also how we used to organize the happy hours is that we used to put a message out a few weeks in advance, generate any interest, give a topic out and see what we talk about. Whereas now we don't need to do that. We know each other so well, and we sort of have a general flow of things. So, you know, we have our intro.
For so long.
Yeah, and we kind of have our core cast now of me, you, Corin, and Nair. And that's absolutely fine. I enjoy episodes with us. I do like variety as well. Obviously, Lego will come on more because we're going to be a little bit better with our time management next year. I can certainly, due to a change in my work schedule, I can record a little bit earlier, not massively earlier, but a little bit. And I'm going to be a bit more flexible as well, so that'll help. Because normally the reason that we've recorded on Sunday nights is because I always work really late, but that'll change. So, hopefully we'll get him on. Noisy will come back on a bit more as well. We'll make more of an attempt. And of course, we want to get a few more guests on. So we will mix it up again, but we always have that regular spine in there, which I like because there's a good mix of humors and
humans.
Good mix of humans and tastes. We all have our different.
I think I love it. I love it when we got the Canadian, American, and Brit going.
I love a bit of that. I do love that action.
It's good to have that.
Yeah, even just that. Yeah, because we have different, ideologies, I guess, and worldviews, and news comes to us from different sources, and different things. Like even when you mention net neutrality as a joke, it's going to affect me differently to it is to you than
the
to
one
Corin
time we talk about stuff like that in Trump when they're not here. It's different.
Yeah, like so it's interesting. There's more views. I would even just with anime and manga, we overlap a lot with stuff, and we have shared interests and tastes. But probably my absolute favorite mangas and animes aren't going to be the same as yours. They probably wouldn't be the same as Corin's, and they wouldn't be the same as Nair's either. So I like that variety. The good thing as well, I guess this just comes into being good human beings, is that even if I express an interest in something that you might not, you guys aren't dicks about it. Like, there's no elitism. That's what I enjoy. There's no...
Oh, you like Mirai Nikki now, huh?
Oh, you like Mirai Nikki? Well, I can tell you right now that the artwork was very lackluster, and I believe that the dialogue was only a 6 out of 10. It's like, I don't...
Given my scale of Citizen Kane to High School Musical 3...
Yeah. Don't mind criticism, and I don't mind critique, as long as it's A, well-informed, and B, entertaining. It needs to be funny. It needs to be a good critique. Or interesting. Not funny, necessarily. It even needs to be funny or interesting. Or a unique viewpoint on things, because I like critiques as well, where it's something I've never even thought about before. So it's not to say don't critique things, because we do a lot of that on this show.
Always a critic.
Yeah, we are always a critic. We do a huge amount of critiquing on this show. But I always like to, again, I want it to be funny or interesting. It needs to has some entertainment value to it. So there you go. That's pretty much the history that I can be asked to go into. I'm sorry if we haven't mentioned people who we should have. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But next, what I wanted to go into, a little bit of a fun thing, because you're here, Manimal, and we said we were going to do that earlier. What are your inspirations for podcasting, and what do you
so
like?
Number one, the thing that shaped my humor was Noxcast, which I mentioned before, but I'll mention it super now. This is with Robert Benfer, who made the Nox Corner claymations on YouTube, which is some of the first stuff I watched on YouTube. It was like, these blue clay men doing things. And it was really dumb because he has a stupid sense of humor, but it immediately clicked with me and became my sense of humor in some ways.
When did you discover these then? So was it when you were like 12?
2006. When I was 10.
Yeah, so really early then.
Yeah, I went on YouTube for the first time when I was 10. Yeah, and there's Noxcast and Nox Corner, and then I found Noxcast somehow, which had Jason Steele, who made Charlie the Unicorn and Llamas with Hats. Like, he's the guy with the silly deep voice and everything. So they did this. By all means, it's not a good show, but it's a great show, and I love it. Like, it's basically just these two talking, and they're so different. But the show is like they're struggling to come up with things to talk about and fill 30 minutes of space. But it's gold. Like, it's weird.
Holy shit. No wonder that's an inspiration for this podcast.
Because the show really only went on for 2006 to 2007, and then encapsulates what is, like, I don't know, my era of time, in a way. Well, that's a weird way of putting it, but, like, a certain era. That
yeah,
I don't know how to describe it, but it was just a great show to listen to because they were so stupid. There's so many phrases I used from the show, like "we're so fantastic now" and "donut thermodynamics," and every time I do it, we're here in Glensdale, Ohio. It's because they did an episode where they were in Glennsville, Ohio, talking about their community living.
Oh, okay.
It's just their sense of humor is just, I don't know, because I listened to that stuff so many times. You know,
Yeah.
I listen to those because I put them on my MP3 player, but you know, you can only feel like a couple episodes at once. So you got to go back and forth. And then so sometimes you'll be listening to music and it just comes on shuffle, and you're just listening to Socktopia Part 2 again. Because they had this thing, they had a 3-part skit where they were, where Jason was like, cleaning socks and stuff. He's washing them in his dryer, and they were just vanishing. So they went inside the dryer and found a civilization of socks, basically.
This was a podcast? Was there video elements to it?
No, it's a podcast. And this, like, it made me die of laughter the first time I listened to it, actually. Because they were just talking about sock people and watching Josie and the Pussycats and being shot at with sock guns. It's so stupid, but it just, I don't know, it just did it for me.
It worked.
That was pretty much like, I like to listen to Film Junk podcast, there was one time where I saw a man emerge from the forest of Duluth in just his underwear while I was listening to Film Junk. That was a memorable time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That was a completely random thing. They were good to listen to back in the road trip days and stuff like that. And there was WTF at TFW, which I listened to for a bit. That was the PSP era, when I put stuff on my PSP.
Oh, I remember that. Way before I had an MP3 player.
Hell yeah.
I had the PSP.
PSP was,
the same 19 songs on it over and over.
I had so many videos that I'd watch over and over, and it was the whole thing. But Film Junk was good. WTF at TFW. There were some other shows, but I don't know. Those are really the main ones. And nowadays, I listen to like the Procrastinators podcast, which is decent sometimes, and not a whole lot.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, like saying the Noxcast was.
But Noxcast is the thing that shaped my sense of humor, because like Robert was such an idiot on the show, but it was great because he just started episodes. He'd just be like, "Hey," and then one episode he took his freaking tube out of the closet and started playing it. And then one episode, Jason just starts playing the Irish tin whistle.
Do you know, more and more, the more you say about it, the more I can see how clearly it has definitely influenced you.
And just the way that it just get awkward, so they just keep mentioning the same stuff over and over, and just anytime they just bring up news stories and they just fail miserably, so they just be like, yeah, it gets, and then it's a crazy show. I love that show.
Oh man,
I listened to it so many times. I loved it.
I mean, yeah, I can see how it certainly left a mark now, and I will have to thank the Noxcast for giving us this manimal.
I'm trying to remember other moments. It was just so crazy because the one guy was in Texas, so they always made jokes about the cowboys and cactuses, and then he'd get really defensive about that. And they had Matt Brooks, who was like their big guest. He was like the Nair. Matt Brooks reminds me of him.
The big guns.
Yeah, because he always came in. I don't know, something similar about their sense of humor, actually. There's a similarity between the two.
They're both American. Maybe that's what it is.
But so are Jason and Knox.
They're semi-American. I don't know.
Yeah. And then the big thing about the show is that they played smooth jazz. Jason always played smooth jazz. So the first time I listened to Miles Davis Kind of Blue, I was like, holy shit, I've heard this music on Noxcast. So it was imprinted in my head.
That's why we have, whenever you edit, there's a little smooth bed of jazz.
Yeah, because I wanted to sound like Noxcast. Because I love it was great because there'd be so much silence that they needed the jazz to fill it. Otherwise, no one would listen.
Yeah.
I love that show. I also listened to PK Painkiller Already, which had a bunch of Call of Duty YouTubers. But it wasn't about Call of Duty, though.
No.
It was a fun show.
Fair enough.
They had the YOLO boys.
Oh!
Well, because they used to have advertisers, so these guys, they were like military forecast guys, so they bought an advertisement spot just to put the YOLO boys. They had no product to sell. They just wanted to put that out there.
Good old YOLO boys. I mean, you know, you only live once, why not? That was a terrible pun. I'm sorry.
It
I'll see
was.
myself out.
But yeah, that's Noxcast. That's the thing for me.
Fair enough. I'm trying to think back to my inspirations, and I did mention previously the one that I listened to, and that was the O Show. This was done by two people. There was Big Daddy Donnie.
Big Daddy Donnie.
And there was Danny O. Now, Danny O was a Canadian rapper. It was a Canadian podcast, by the way, Manimal. I should mention this, from Ontario. They both were Ontario natives. And one of them was
Ontario natives or Ontario natives?
Ontario natives. Does it matter? Yeah. Anyway,
no, it means different things.
I don't know. They were from Ontario and they were in Ontario at the time. So one of them, Big Daddy Donnie, was the wrestling. It was a wrestling podcast. And he was a wrestling booker. He'd been in the business. He'd done multiple shows and live wrestling radio and all these things. So he'd been around the block for many, many years. And then Danny-O was his friend who is a Canadian rapper, but he also was a huge fan of wrestling, and he'd been involved in his promotions, and he'd been a manager and stuff. So they had the knowledge of wrestling, so like inside and out, and they critique like WWE, and they go through there. But they also spoke about a lot of things. So they speak about football, baseball, anything like that. Dexter was a big thing that they speak about. There was a show when they opened where they were talking about He-Man and shit, and I loved their format. I loved that they had a great format, but they were really offensive. Like, you know,
that's what you want.
That's what I mean. They were super offensive guys, but super, super funny. Danny-O was so funny with shit. You know, like I say, really disrespectful, and I think pretty much offended everyone. Women, gay people, racist. Even though Danny-O was a black person, but you know, they weren't seriously racist. They were, again, it was all humor. It wasn't in a serious context.
Yeah.
They were really funny. The shows were super long. They were about 2.5 hours to 3 hours normally, sometimes more depending. And they would just shoot the shit for the first 20 minutes. Then they would go into what was called the O's and No's, and that was like their personal highlights, but also any news topics that they need to talk about. And then they would go into a phone call or something, and they would have their main guest at the end. I would never really, truth be told, I'd rarely listen to the last 40 minutes when they had the guest, because most of the time it just turned into an interview.
Yeah.
And it was funny, but I much preferred the dynamic of just those two shooting their shit. I mean, as the years went on, the crew got bigger, and again, like you were saying with guests, they had wrestler guests who would come on. There were some people who were like absolutely incredible. They would have a couple of times they had 3 of them on at the same time, or 4. I remember it was Danny-O's birthday, and he had like 4 wrestlers. There's one who was Rico, and he was like, he had this running joke where Danny-O was his bitch. It was just dead funny. I love those guys.
Oh, I don't want to interrupt, but there's one thing I remembered about Noxcast.
Okay, yeah, sure.
The
classic... I don't want to interrupt, but I'm going to
Sorry, there's this hour-long episode or whatever where everything's just going weird, it's awkward, and then Robert just suddenly goes like, hash brown on a cell phone. Dental floss wears glasses. Seedy burner needs a new CD. Just sorry, I had to. I just remembered that the hash brown on a cell phone is something that I've always carried with me.
I know, because you say Japan in a dishpan.
Oh, that's a beef art song, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's why you say it, because it's just fucking.
Yeah, I just
random.
I just had to. Anyways, carry on.
You've just Japanned in a dishpan me right there.
No, you were talking
with
about the
Danny-O
bitch.
I don't know. Never mind. Yeah, that's the O Show. It was a big influence, as you guys can imagine. I like longer podcasts. Everyone else doesn't. Noisy doesn't. Sherbet didn't. That's why we've always tend to have kept them down to about an hour to an hour and a half. recently, without them, they've been creeping up to 2 hours, but that's just how it is. And we sort of have our informal segments because of that. It's sort of from that structure with the O show, but it was a really fun one. Ended years ago, but I will still go back and listen to them. Particularly every Christmas, I will always listen to the first episode I ever heard of theirs, and it was Christmas 2008. I always listen to that episode every Christmas. It's amazing. Well, around Christmas, not on Christmas Day. I'm not like, I can't open no presents until I get through the 3.5 hour video.
Yeah, everyone screw off.
Yeah, but that's all good. I love that O show. I use a lot of the lingo and stuff. The other one that I enjoy, not really had an influence now. So yeah, I was going to say the other one that I enjoyed was the Russell Brand podcast, but it never really had an influence on how we do this. It was very much a radio show that just got formatted to a podcast, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They just did it on radio too, and then they just cut out the songs and just goes, there's a podcast, there you go. But that was fun. I would encourage anyone to look out for the Russell Brand Radio 2 podcast, because that was always funny and it's hilarious. If you like Russell Brand, you won't be disappointed. The other one that I listened to is the Rooster Teeth one. Don't know if you ever listened to that one.
Nah.
No. That was good fun. I haven't listened to it for a few years now, but I always enjoyed the Rooster Teeth one when it was a lot smaller and you had Jeff and Gus, because again, you have different people with different senses of humor and backgrounds, and they're all getting on, but they're all mates, and then they just shit talk for an hour and a half. There was no theme, there was no topic. They just got on and just spoke about anything. Could have been news, could have been current events or whatever. Whatever tangents they went on, they just ran with them until they had, an hour and a half of audio filled. So that's what I always enjoyed. I love that, where you just go with someone on like a random, I absolutely love that. My sense of humor is based around random tangents. It makes me laugh.
Hell yeah.
Excuse me. But yeah, fuck it. That's my inspirations. I can't be asked to talk about inspirations anymore. Just before we get out, I don't know how long we've been going.
Almost 4 hours by now.
Fucking 4 hours. I was going to say, shall we? Is there any characters, reoccurring things, or any little tidbits of the show that you kind of just want to pick out and talk about? Well, do you know anything that's happened?
This year we had the ever classic Robert Johnson. That was from our, I think second best episode. 73.
Episode 73.
Yeah.
Episode 73 was the greatest episode.
I still say episode 100 just because we made it to episode 100, so it's a benchmark kind of thing. But on 73, we were talking about handshakers. And there brings up handshaking expert Robert Johnson, forgetting that Robert Johnson is the creator of blues music, pretty much. Robert Johnson.
He didn't know. It wasn't he forgot. He just didn't know.
And then, that brings on that he's actually Mr. Tambourine Butt, which is a song I made in 2015 before I really started making songs. I play the butt tambourine. I squeeze my cheeks to the beat. It's from like October 2015.
Okay, what makes that so funny now? What always makes Mr. Tambourine Butt funny is the image.
Oh, because Nair made this great image for it.
Nair quickly drew a Mr. Tambourine Butt, and it's magical. And it might be the thumbnail for this. I don't know.
Maybe, because I just thought that, and then we did the whole, I don't know. That was fun, Robert Johnson. Then you have your Neko Mimi pasta.
Oh God, yeah.
You break into.
I guess it's weird because I guess we do an audio-based show. We slip into characters a lot and do stupid accents and all sorts. It's weird talking about them now as if like they're legitimate things, but they're reoccurring gags, I guess. So they are. I think Neko Mimi pasta just came from "Can I get an amen and a yeah and yeah." I can't even say it. And it evolved over time. Yeah, and I'm just because it's basically me trying to do a pasta voice without trying to do too black a pasta voice. Because sometimes it turns into like Dr. Manning, and then I'm like, I need to pull it back a little bit here. And there's something wrong with these people. There's something wrong with you. You're voting for Obama.
Just the way that you were that like roll of your throat. It's the same when you do Batman Scoop.
One of the reasons I like doing it now is because it's dead satisfying to do.
I guess so. Hey,
The
man,
only reason that Trump won and Obama ain't here no more is because he didn't like no cat girls. I couldn't keep it up. I am gonna have no voice tomorrow, but
yeah.
whatever.
what it
There's
goes.
weird, stupid shit. There's like Hulk Hogan that I do. I don't know why that's a go-to for me. It just is. Nair's king of accents now.
Yeah, you can't beat Nair's accent chest.
The one that did me in and destroyed me absolutely was the German one recently.
Oh, that was yeah.
Slice of life, innocent German man.
The innocent Nazi.
Yeah, innocent Nazi who's non-threatening and wants to just get along.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but it was just the visual of
The visual.
I have un bento box. Could you meet me on the roof? Oh god, I think I've mentioned it like more time. I think I've spent more time talking about it on shows than it was actually on the show.
I know.
It was just a throwaway. Nair just did it, and that's it. He moved on. But I can't stop laughing at it now. That was one of my favourite moments of this year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stupid voices and shit that we do. I don't know why. Japan and the Dishpan was a thing that just fucking ended us for.
I don't know why. I just
weeks.
suddenly remembered a Captain Beefheart song. I thought the title was funny.
I think that's what happens in this. A lot of these shows. Because over the 118 episodes, probably closer with if you count in the after hours, count in the 12 days of Christmas and stuff, we've probably done 150 odd recordings. More than that, easy. And they're multiple hours each time. So over those times, there have been occasions where people have maybe lost focus or just given up at some point. And it's only happened to me a couple times. Both times when it, because once you just lose focus, it is really hard to finish a show. You can just tell when Manimal's gone, and it's like, okay, bye everyone. It's just easier to
all
leave.
It is it's either nowadays it's Slav squatting on my apps. That's the new thing.
At least, I mean, I will say I infinitely prefer the squats. More healthier for you, but also there isn't constant guitar riffs in the background when we're trying to have a conversation.
Yeah, that got bad in the beginning.
Yeah. Oh, you have no idea. I was like, you motherfucker.
I'm a bastard.
You bastard. Yeah, Lego is a good treasure trove of catchphrases himself. I don't know where all of them come from. Sweet banana, that's just his German. I don't know.
There's classic Rip Castro.
Rip Castro came as well. Good old Rip Castro. I don't know. There's too many things to count. There's always weird things I remember. Like when I'm looking back at stuff, if I have to go back through episodes, there's always like random little throwaway gags that I found hilarious.
Oh yeah.
So like I remember when we first started doing these shows, Lego would like just randomly call us on Skype for no reason. And I remember like we'd done, I think it was episode 3 or 4. We were very beginning of our like friendship and speaking on Skype and stuff. And he just kept calling us at like 3:30 in the morning, and I'm in bed. My girlfriend's there. She's like, "Who is calling you? Why is someone calling you on Skype?" And then I had to kind of explain like who he was and why there was a Malawian calling me to talk about anime and manga.
Yeah, he's not a Nigerian prince.
That's how she found out about the podcast. It's like, yeah, so there's these guys on the internet I do a podcast with.
We talk about economics and stocks.
Yeah, it's like we talk about all kinds of stuff. It's weird now because when I first did the podcast, didn't want to like. I was living alone when I decided that we were going to do something, or that I wanted to give it a try and do a podcast, because I couldn't possibly imagine doing it in a house with another person. And whereas now I'll do it in the same room as like my girlfriend. But before I was like, no one can see you doing it. Whereas I don't give a fuck now. I don't know why. It's strange.
You've done it enough.
Yeah, you get used to it, I guess.
Because it's shameful.
Not really. It's not shameful. Like the podcast. I personally, I don't really broadcast the fact that I do it. outside in like say at work or something, because I think I've discussed this before, but a pet peeve of mine is people who will like start up a project, or they'll do something and then they will like really try and guilt trip everyone they know to please follow me, please please buy my stuff, do all this.
BarryGoldman.bandcamp.com/set/MagnusBridge.
But that's fun. That's like a gag on the show. Like, that's a throwaway comment. And it's like, I don't want to be, please follow me on Facebook. I know you hate anime and manga and stuff.
Yeah.
Please follow us now. Please give us a like. It's like, it's not organic. It's not genuine to me. If my mum follows me on Twitter, she's doing that because of my son. She's not doing it because she wants some of the hottest takes on fucking handshakers around the anime fandom, is she?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So when it comes to, because I work in, there's elements of video production and stuff in my work, so I'm keen to get involved in that. And when they ask why, I tell them why, because I do podcasts and stuff on the side. But yeah, I never really broadcast it too much. If it comes up in conversation, like when I was going to LAGC to do a panel, I got talking about that to people, and people know that I write. So some people are like, "You write? What do you write?" I was like, "Stories." What story? Like, it's such an abstract concept to people that someone would take the time to enjoy writing. It's so weird. They're just like, "Oh my god, you write?
You're so
like,
talented."
Yeah, like they seem to think it's some magic. Like, I'm like, anyone can write.
Same thing with drawing.
Yeah, except you can immediately tell if someone's bad at drawing.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to actually read what someone said.
Yeah,
before,
here's my story, Heavy Ron.
You motherfucker! You better back off, Heavy Rain.
Hey,
it's the best story ever.
I'm not saying good or bad. Here's my story. Just want a normal school life.
That is a bad one. Do you know when that story came up? Right, I wanted to make when I made I just want a normal school life. I wanted to see if I could make something that's as faithful as possible to all the other school life and slice of life comedies out there. And I have no idea why I wanted to do that. Why did I want to just try? Oh yes, as you see, I guess I wanted to see if I could be faithful to that kind of genres and that type. But that's just literally just taking all the cliches and tropes and just putting them into something.
Whereas it'd be better if you talked about your school life. Because you're freaking Alex.
Yeah. Fucking Alex Isis is coming. That's the thing. That's what makes me probably one of the funniest things about the podcast that I do enjoy the most is how you never know what'll stick. You don't know what'll stick and what'll come around.
You don't just casually mention an ice cream man who rents PS1 games and think that it won't stick.
I literally mentioned an ice cream man years and years and years and years ago who used to just fucking rent PS1 games. That's all he did. Offhand comment. And he's an integral part of our history now, Alex the Ice Cream Man.
And I think that Jamaican man is coming on too.
Jamaican, what did we call him? Jamaican Jeff?
No, he's Jamaican man.
Jamaican Man, sorry. I thought we gave him like an illiterate name.
No, Jamaican man.
Jamaican Man's there. Polish restaurant guy's there as well. The restaurant review thing, like that was just a dumb throwaway thing to say, this is what I did on my week. And then it's become a thing.
That's what happens.
Or like the albums of 1981 and all that.
Yeah, man. It was necessary. Had to be done.
Yeah. That's one of the things, another thing that I enjoy about the show as well is sort of how we evolved. We were very tightly focused originally on going to be writing advice, artist advice, manga and anime. Whereas now we've evolved, we have several music episodes and several, well, quite heavily influenced with music and stuff. And we have a lot of discussion about music. Not just anime and manga, anime-based music or Japanese music, but, classic music as well, and Western music. And I enjoy that. I like that we have that flexibility to do so. And we've sort of adapted and evolved and grown their interests. Because some episodes, we'll be honest, we don't mention manga and anime much at all.
That's what happens.
It happens. That's kind of why I like where we are now with our system, where we have the news. We can get, take some interesting news stories or a funny news story that's happened in the in Japan or in the manga and anime world. And also we have what we've been watching and reading, because that keeps me engaged in anime. Because last year I was a bit shit and I barely watched anything. Whereas this year I know I've comfortably watched a few shows. I'm trying to quantify it in a number, probably 40. Maybe 40? Or maybe even 50. I've definitely seen at least 50 first episodes.
Yeah.
No, definitely not finished 50 series, but
Oh yeah, your grand goal.
of the 50 series. I've got them because I noted them all down on the Google Doc, so I know exactly what I've got, but I've dropped many a series from there. Although when you've got shit like Iro Manga Sensei and A Sister's All You Need and all that shit, you're going to be dropping
Okay,
a few.
stop dissing Arrow Mongol Sensei.
I will diss it all I like.
Hashtag
It's a pile of
stop
shit.
the Mongol hate. Why are you hating on Mongols?
Hashtag stop this episode.
Oh,
We have, I think, well, is there anything else you want to discuss about the happy hour?
I mean, we've been going for a bit.
We have been going
We
for a
talked
long
about
time.
Talked about this and that.
Sorry for the ramble. This was a totally unstructured case study of the happy hour, so apologies. But
Yeah.
if you have listened to this, let us know if you've enjoyed it, and also any questions that you have for in regards to the happy hour. Let us know.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do this
Also,
next
you know,
year.
the happy hour has made me play harmonica. 'Cause
Maybe learn harmonica.
I literally, the first episode, I had bought a harmonica like 2 days ago. So when Noisy was talking in the intro, I was just like, so I was like, that'll really mess with them.
More music. I have sang more in the last couple of years on the happy hour than I have done in a long time.
Okay,
Particularly the hoedowns.
My favorite is when you were like 40-year-old Finnish cousin taking a communal shit.
I don't know. That was a good episode. Day one. Listen to day one, everyone. That's fun.
Yeah,
Fun times.
I just looked that you made a song about that.
I know, I can't help it. My brain just I songify things.
Just
I
the
see.
idea of the
Okay.
communal shit is
Taking a communal shit.
because it makes sense the way I described it, but you know.
Yeah. Now we know what you meant. But yeah. I loved as well. That's another example of something that just. We did like a musical forfeit or a freestyle. That was the sort of thing that we did for a bit, where it was like a challenge, and then we did freestyle for the forfeit, and then Nair just changed it to the hoedown from Whose Line Is It Anyway, just for his. And like a bolt of lightning up the anus that was. I was like, I need these on every single show. We need to end the episode with a hoedown, and that was like my
Yeah.
plan from then on. And immediately afterwards, I was like, okay, hoedown. Nah, man, I can't think of anything. Don't know. So that kind of put a spanner in those works. But if I had my way, every single episode would
Yes.
end with a hoedown, because I
Oh,
love that shit.
We can't end the episode with forgetting the fact that we brought a Naragoro to the West.
Oh, fuck yes, we did. Our biggest contribution to the anime world so far
Our unconfirmed contribution, mind
is
you.
that we were there when no one else was, and we were talking about Noragaru, the fart anime. We saw it on the summer season. We were championing the cause, and it finally came across on Crunchyroll and got subbed. We were there.
Yeah, only because of us. It was only because Crunchyroll, they saw us and they were like, we need to bring it over.
Yeah, it was when the Twitter account for Noragaru got a Western follower, and they were like, what the fuck? There's people out there speak English who need to see us.
Yeah,
Let's get out there. Let's call up Crunchyroll.
that's exactly what happened, detail for detail.
Absolutely. But that's us done. Our brief history and retrospective. It wasn't so brief. Our brief and unfocused history of the happy hour. Hope you enjoyed the episode, guys. Hope you enjoyed the 12 days of Christmas. Do you want to take us out, Manimal? Do you want to give us an outro?
We started this episode to find our history, but instead we found ourselves. Oh, what am I doing?
I don't know.
Christmas! Merry Christmas!
When was Boxing Day?
It's Boxing Day. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We
celebrate Christmas every day.
Ho, ho, ho. That's a really unenthusiastic ho, ho, ho. But Merry Christmas. This is a podcast with some very special people. Not me. I'm not talking about myself.
I think we should get out the way that we're all British. We're like real minority.
You've just ruined the climax of we're all British. Yeah, we were having a fourth member in spirit. He is here in spirit. Unfortunately, due to some internet issues or Christmas, I don't know. He may be drunk. I don't know. He isn't here. Hopefully, he'll be with us in a few weeks' time. We don't know. But for now, you are stuck with us, unfortunately.
We have to keep Lego due to ethnic minority reasons.
Yes, he filled
he's the one that makes us feel culturally diverse.
Well, you see, we would have been so diverse then because we've got British people. We're English. You guys are ginger, so that's some kind of quota, I'm sure.
Yeah, half Canadian, pulling in for the
half Canadian. So there we go. We've got the Western Front held down, and then Lego would have filled out. He would have ticked the rest of the boxes there, I'm sure. So we would have been cool. We would have been all gravy. But hey ho, he's not there. But we're also actually, to my knowledge, we're all writers as well, primarily.
Yes.
Although you can draw a little bit, Ginger. I have seen those drawings.
Whoa.
These drawings.
I may have seen some drawings which had Ginger's name on them. I don't know. I can't either confirm or deny that statement anymore. I feel like I've said too much.
It'll be our little task for the audience. Just search online, find me on DeviantArt, add me, friend me, and then you can look at the drawings.
There you go. Yeah, there's a little mission already for you. But yeah, we're all scattered across the country. We are all celebrating Christmas. But what's been going on, guys? How has Christmas been for you?
Yeah, it's been good. For a non-Christian family, celebrated quite well. Got all the family around. Was expecting 25 people, which would have been absolutely nuts, but I only had 19 only. So
Only.
but it was good. Lots of food, lots of booze, and had a good time. And yeah, just catching up on sleep now. I think that's the big thing for me.
Sounds good, man. So sorry to keep you up for this as well.
No.
Apologise.
I wouldn't miss it.
But how about you, Ginger? What have you been up to then the last few days?
Oh, well, I've been avoiding family, mostly sleeping. I eat when they serve the meals, and that's all I can think at the top of my mind.
Coolio. But yeah, me, as I say, pretty much, there was a bit of a contrast there then. Lots of family, avoiding family. I'm a happy medium then, I guess. I love all my family, I love all my friends and see them. But you do, at the same time, I do like to be at home as well. Like, sometimes you just think, all right, guys, can you piss off now? Like, I do just want to have some alone time. But yeah, lots of beer, lots of amazing presents, awesome things. Didn't watch too much Christmas stuff.
I made an effort not to get sucked into any Christmas movies this year.
Really? See, it really helps me to feel Christmassy, but I just didn't catch up on anything. Like, I had all these. I usually do this every year. I have a plan of doing things, and it just goes out the window. Same with writing. I was writing a Christmas story.
How's that going?
It's not much further than it was last week, to be honest. It has 2 scenes, and Christmas is gone. So I'm in 2 minds of whether to save it till next year, and it might be done then, or just publish it in the first week of January, because I've already done a fair bit on it. So I don't know. But how about you? Did you do any Christmas writing? Watched anything? As I say, I was going to watch Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya, but it didn't pan out, unfortunately, because that's a long-ass movie, that movie is. It's like 3 hours. It's like Lord of the Rings.
Not here. I've just been focusing on my first impression reviews series. I'm on my last one, which I've been contemplating whether or not to watch it today, so I can get on with it, but just been busy with other things. Life kind of takes over at the moment, so not too much watching, but I've been really focusing on finishing these reviews, so because it's almost the next season. I can't believe I did this. I started the full season, started reviewing them. and then had a massive break in the middle, and now it's almost the winter 2015 season, and haven't finished. So won't be doing that again.
until 20 days time.
Oh god, don't! It's not gonna happen. How about you, Ginger?
What was the question again? Sorry.
Did you get up to any Christmas themed writing or drawing or any manga or anime that was
Funny enough,
Christmas
I did just
themed?
come back from some shopping in the town centre. I got some manga. I was also thinking of getting some anime, but they were selling DVDs at 40 quid a box set, so...
Yeah.
No, I'm just going to go to Crunchyroll and... or maybe pirate it.
You went out shopping today.
Yes.
Weren't there any Boxing Day sales, or was that Boxing Day sale prices at 40 quid a box
I think
set?
both outcomes would just be so bad that
Yeah.
I just don't want to think about it.
Anime tends to not be put on these sales, I find, at least in my area anyway. I can't seem to find it, and I'm just like,
Yeah, I mean, all these Japanese people saying they love England, and then they come over here and see the prices of manga. It's
They
like,
hightail the fuck back. But no, what manga was it? If you don't mind me asking,
huh? Pardon?
what manga was it that you
Oh, basically, I brought the Yotsuba.
Oh.
Ooh.
I brought some K-On!
Ooh.
And
I didn't know that had a manga.
And I was finishing off my series of Attack on Titan,
Whoop whoop.
because anyone who doesn't like Attack on Titan ought to be shot on the spot.
Oh, shots fired! Shots fired! Literally in that case. Yeah, I'm really sorry. I'm going to be at risk of getting shot here. Don't hang on. Hear me out. Really enjoyed the anime. I did read a lot of the manga. I got to I don't really spoil it. I got past where the anime got to, but I aren't up to date at the moment. I do really need to get up to date on it because I'm interested in. I don't know how
It
to.
comes out so slowly. I just can't.
Yeah.
Because I'm a bad person. I don't buy anime DVDs. I don't watch them on official streaming sites. And I don't buy manga. I just don't have the money. But I wait for the translations to come out, and usually it's pretty on point with normal releases. But Attack on Titan just seems so sporadic and slow.
Yeah. No, I know. I do know what you mean. There's one I watch. There's one that I read. Apocalypse No Torrid. It's like a zombie apocalypse one. It's pretty cool. But the releases are just so random. It's like 1 to 2 months go by, and then a chapter just pops up. I think it's the same with Betomb as well. I don't know if they're just on a monthly release schedule, and then it's as and when. I don't honestly know. They're a bit weird, but yeah, Attack on Titan is something I really need to catch up with.
Can I ask, Ginger, in regards to K-On! My understanding of K-On! Is that it's a
Like Music Club?
series about a little girl band and eating lots of cake and tea parties. How does music translate into manga?
I've never been a musician myself. I mean, so
you read it mostly for the tea parties?
I'm mostly reading because, just anime girls, and I'm probably single, so that probably has a big sort of feel towards it.
Yeah.
But it's it's comedy. I love comedy. The music side, it does have music sheets in the back, but
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I never, I don't have the instruments to sort of use them. In the anime, I think they play music.
Yeah. I have watched K-On's anime. I will say that music's kind of a theme, but it's very much more. The show is more about it's very much slice of lifey.
Yes.
So it's about what they do. A lot of the time they won't even play their instruments. It'll be like they're going on a summer trip somewhere, or to that effect. It's more about them, and it's almost that's just the backdrop for how they've met. In fact, the main character Yui, she didn't even know how to play guitar when she goes there.
No.
She just kind of goes because I think she had there's like a flashback scene where she's playing like the castanets or something, and she just thinks it's going to be that. So it's misunderstandings, hilarity ensues, etc.
Okay.
So it's not a music heavy kind of show. Although they do, as Ginger said, they do actually play full songs on there.
Okay. I like the idea of having music in the in the back. It's like in Terraformers where they have like the little insect fact file sheets.
Yeah.
Stuff.
No,
that to me is a really cool addition to.
I really like when manga has some extra in the back. I think that's really cool. I was reading Cage of Eden, and they had like the extinct animal encyclopedia in there. They had the animals that came up, and they would show there was a few facts about them, like when they went extinct and when they were around, what regions they were from. It's pretty interesting. It's just a nice a little tidbit to have on the end there. It's quite nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, have you? But as I say, it is Christmas. I didn't get as much anime or manga as I intended to. Having recently moved house, I got a lot of house things. But at least we had good food, good drink, and also some snow as well. Lots and lots of snow here today, in fact, which made me a bit late for this. But I enjoy the snow. I don't enjoy being outside in it as much as I used to as a child. But yeah, it's nice. It's pretty.
Just tons of rain down here at the moment. It's spitting outside. It's been spitting all.